So form in music means just basically the way it's planned, its structure, its etc. So binary and ternary form are just names for like different kinds of forms and structures in your piece. So let's explore binary form first. So binary form means two sections of fairly equal length, one balancing the other. So also, you can also remember as binary means two. So binary means there's two sections. And yeah. So in binary form, the two sections, they're fairly equal, but they're fairly balanced, but that doesn't mean they have the same melody or harmony. So section like A would probably be the theme, and then section B would be an episode, and then that would be the whole piece. So what a composer would probably regularly do for binary form would he'd have like section A and section B, and then you might see it commonly repeating back to section A and then ending there. But that would be more ternary form. So say if the repeat weren't there, then a composer would write a theme and a episode to follow up that theme. So then it will be like you play section A and you play section B, and they probably should be about equal in length. Does that make sense? Yeah? No, kind of. So with the first section, there's like a general rule that it should probably end on the fifth scale degree. So then when it goes into the next section, there's a very convincing first scale degree. And in case you don't know, 5 to 1 is a very convincing ending or start. So basically it sounds something like dun 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 dun, and then you can stop dun 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 dun. So then the first section probably should end in 5, and then when you go into the next section, starts with 1 and keeps going, and preferably ends with 1. Does that make sense? So most of the questions you'll get in the exam is identifying whether a piece is binary or ternary form. So if you look at question 1 right here, we can definitely see that it separates here. How? Well, one big clue here is the slurs. So the slurs, you know that they mark phrasing, right? So if one phrase starts here and ends here, you definitely draw a separating line here, especially since there's a rest. And it's this, so that would be section A, and this is section, sorry, this is section B. See, the slur starts here and ends here. So, quick question, what key is this in? Major. Did you say F major? Yeah, that's right. So this is an F major. We know from the key signature and the fact that it ends on F. So, as I said, the last phrase should generally end in 1, So the tonic, that's right there. And then the second phrase preferably ends with 5. It's all there. Because 5 is kind of like an imperfect ending, it gives the delusion that there is something more to come. So you couldn't end a piece of music on 5. You'd have to like resolve it somehow. So right. So you would usually use a lot of 4-bar or 8-bar phrases since they just really sound good. So we could divide this piece into 4 bars plus an anacrusis. Oh wait. Oh sorry, I got something wrong. There we go. 1, 2. It ends here. How do you know? It's because the slur cuts off there. And there is an anacrusis. So that means the next phrase should also start with an anacrusis. So this is the B section. And then it ends with a slur. Okay, what key is this?
G major.
Yep, good. So, okay. Let's also look at the anacrusis when you're writing particular music. The anacrusis should usually be the 5th scale degree. So what you really want is a 5-1 here, because as I mentioned before, it's a very convincing start or finish. So a 5-1 would sound like dun dun, and then if you come back down as an ending, like you could have something like dun 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 dun. So it makes a very convincing ending. Okay, I'm rubbing that out. Yeah. So a lot of pieces, they're obviously much longer than this, but most of the composers, they would use neat number of bars. Like 72 is a very neat number, or maybe 80 is also a very neat number. 96 is a good number, etc. So yeah, they will probably use a number that would divide very neatly into like bars. It's like phrases of 4, phrases of 8, phrases of 16 maybe, because in longer pieces, like obviously phrases are much longer. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay. So ternary form is 3 sections. So you have 1 section, 2 section, and 3 section. But the twist here is that the first and the third sections are almost the same. And the second is different from the first and third sections in some way, either because it changes key or the melody is completely different. But you'll always come back to like the original, like A at the end. And there's also like what's called a coda, which means ending. Because technically the A section, or the first A section, should end on the tonic. And the second A section must end on the tonic because it's the end. Unless a coda forces it to end on 1. Okay, next. So ternary form is generally easy to recognize because, well, if you look at the first and the end, you can see that they're almost the same. So like you could probably assume that it's ternary form from looking at just like CCGG. Oh, cool. This must be A, and this must be A, and this must be B. And also we got the slurs to support it. And no slur there. So we got the slurs to support us. And you can see that the B section is really different from the A section in many ways. Firstly, like the articulation, the actual notes, the rhythm, yeah, everything. So B is the episode here, and it differs a lot from the theme. So the theme would be A, since we're introduced to A first, and then B is a contrasting episode, and then A is back to the theme. So that's some theory terminology for you. All right. So let's see. Okay, so a 12-bar melody, you could divide very easily to 3 4-bar sections, or if a composer intended to be binary form, 2 6-bar sections. But like generally 4-bar sections, they sound the best because like it's a good, first it's a good length, and secondly, it's just neat, honestly. Well, multiples of 4, they're also like really neat. If you put them in music, like 8-bar sections are pretty neat. 16-bar sections are also good. And some composers, they have to go much longer. So, but you probably wouldn't, if you were marking your phrasing, you wouldn't see anything longer than an 8-bar section. So, yeah. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention. So, back at question 4, the first A section has to end on the tonic. The B section can end on like whatever it wants, but preferably use 2 or 5 because those don't sound good as like an imperfect ending. So then the ending can be continued by the recurring A section, which has the tonic to end it finally. So ending notes, also very important in realizing ternary form. And also with ternary form, a very blatantly obvious thing that's just its ternary form is a marking such as a tempo. Does anyone know what that means?
Return to the former speed.
Yep. So basically, it's telling you to return to the former speed, aka it's telling you to return back to the speed that it was in A. So that means that your speed is the same as what it was in section A, and probably your melody will be the same as well. So what composers sometimes do, like especially with what's called the minuet, is a type of piece called the minuet. You have like 2 sections, an A and a B section, but then at the end of B, there's like a repeat sign that drags you all the way back to A and then makes the piece end here. So that's actually not ternary form. There's something called a minuet form, which is specifically dedicated to this kind of music. So this kind of music will be called a minuet. So basically what happens is you play A, you play B, and then at the end of B, there's a repeat. There's a repeat that drags you back to A and ends you before B starts again. So that specific kind of form is called a minuet form. my advice would be don't get fooled by repeats if they are in your music. Repeats probably shouldn't be like something you really worry about because firstly, no one really plays repeats, so it wouldn't manifest that it's a binary or ternary form or whatever. But like that kind of repeating structure, like with the repeat at the end of B, that's called a minuet form because minuets they actually use a lot. So this one is rather interesting because it's mostly dividing its phrases in 2 bars, which it sounds all right if you're using a shorter melody. But there's a bit of syncopation here because they're looping it over the wrong bars, really. Let's write in how many bars there are. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, did I miscount something? Oh, sorry. I'm still half awake today. 13, 14. Where's the time? Miscounting? 1, 2, 3. I feel like I miscounted something.
You did 4, 6. You missed the 5.
Ah, that's where I made the. I'm still half awake today because like I stayed up really late last night. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, bar 12, and bar 13. We can treat bar 13 as more like a mini little coda, or you can treat it as like the end of bar 4, where you have like that. So I guess you could say bar 4 is like a code. What's it called? A codetta, which is like a mini ending, but not like the ending of a piece. It's like the ending of a movement of a sonata or something. It's like a codetta, and then the codetta ends here. So more or less, you would have 3-bar sections here, which is a lot more irregular. Then maybe a 4-bar section here, and either 2-bar here, or you can treat, yeah. But like generally this piece is a little hard to divide up into nice, equal, even bars, but you can already observe that here is mostly the same, right? And then it also, well, minus this, it also has the same kind of like coda or codette. So it would be in A, B, A. Does it make sense? Does everyone understand binary and ternary form and how to identify it perfectly? Right. I'll give you a couple of minutes to go get some of the music you're learning right now, and then we'll share it with each other and see, like, we'll analyze its form. And yeah, so I'll give you maybe like 3 minutes to go get some of your present music. Go. Okay, we're waiting on the others. Is everyone ready? Okay. Abigail, do you want to share your music first? So you can just, I think you can just hold it up to the screen unless you've got like a digital copy, in which case, like, yeah. Okay, this is semi-quaver, so there's a bunch of semi-quaver runs there. Okay, do you think we could separate this music into 4-bar phrases? Looks like it, because you see, like at the end of the fourth bar, you're ending firmly on the tonic. Let's keep analyzing. Okay, and then you can see a definite ending there, like where the piece breaks. I think it's at bar 12 or something. Does anyone else have any like opinions? Okay. Hazel, do you want to share yours? Hazel is playing some very complicated music. So Hazel, firstly, I want to ask your opinions. What do you think? So ignore that repeat sign at 1 for now. And what do you think its 4 might be? Binary or ternary?
Ternary.
Maybe. Can I have a look at it again? Just move over a bit. Over a bit. I mean, maybe not ternary, because if you look at it, there's like a definite like repeat sign, even though you don't do the repeat. That's kind of telling you that you're getting your music is getting separated into two what's it called? Yeah, into 2 sections. So I think that would be more binary if I just can look at it again. Does anyone else have any opinions? Yeah, I think that would be more binary. Hamish, can you share yours? Okay, firstly, Hamish, what do you think?
I think it's a thing starting with T.
Ternary?
Yep.
Yep. So ternary, it means like three sections. So you have an A section, which is the theme, a B section, a B episode, and then the A section coming back. So Hamish, can I get another look at it again? I mean, it probably would be A, because like if you look at like ternary, I mean, it's because if you look at the end, you have like kind of like variations on that first like da 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 da. And like at the end, it's more like da 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 da. Yeah, that's what it looked like. So even if you had like slight variations on the theme, like at the end, that would still count as your A section. And repeat signs. So another thing to look out for when you're dividing sections is that like if there's a repeat sign like the smack bang middle of the piece, even though you don't do the repeat sign. So imagine if you just ignore the repeat sign, right? If you just kept playing on and ended at the end of the B section, that would obviously be binary form. And then that repeat sign is like separating the A section from the B section, because obviously a repeat sign could be placed like somewhere curious where it's not even like where it's like in the middle of nowhere of the piece, right? So yeah, repeat signs usually could like divide your section if you look carefully. Eva? It's a little blurry. Okay, does anyone have a pardon?
I have a digital copy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Can you share? Let me just check if you can share screen. First, I'll stop my share and okay. Yeah, you can share it if you want.
How do you share a photo?
You're gonna have to get the photo up on some kind of like program, and then like once you go open up, you should be able to yeah. So open your photo in like I don't know photos or something, like in the photos program, and then like you should be able to share it. Ah, there we go. Oh. Okay. So that looks I mean, it does kind of look like I would say I would say like that wouldn't really be neither binary nor ternary, even though like they are the most common kind of like forms you'll find in a piece. Because like if you look carefully throughout the piece, it keeps changing key and it keeps changing time signature and it keeps changing speed. So what I would say, that's kind of something you'll learn later on, is the variations form, which is basically like you have one main section and then you have like a bunch of like variations or episodes in that section. Not something you need to like, oh, wait a second. Oh no, it's an ABA. Sorry, my bad. Didn't see. So there's like that distinctive high note there, and like the speed of lento. So probably a yeah, B would be here because you're changing speed and you're also changing time signature and you're also changing key, and then A B A. So when looking out for like changing, also look for like changing key signatures, changing time signatures, or changing speed. Anyone else opinions? No? Okay. Yeah, everybody can stop sharing now. So, so I hope that all makes sense. And yeah, go on to lesson 10. So accents in verse. Wait a second, this is being in the way. There we go. Accents in verse. So basically, so what's a verse is basically like a sentence, except you're arranging it in rhythm in terms of like, strong beats and weak beats, just as you do in music. So what you essentially want to do is you want to mark the strong beats and weak beats of your music, and then kind of like transform them into a rhythm, which then you can transform them into select a melody to be sung. So if I had like a normal sentence, like let's say I like music theory, we could separate each of the words according to the syllables in like strong syllables and weak syllables, and then we decide on a time signature that fits that kind of like strong weak pattern. Like for example, I like music theory. The strong beats would fall on I music theory. So strong weak, strong weak, strong weak. I like music theory, and which time signature has 2/4 in it. Which signature has a strong weak pattern in it? It's 2/4, right? So then you can put I like music theory into a rhythm in 2/4, which then, if you wanted to, you could transfer it into a melody for someone to be sung, but they could say like, I like music theory. I could do for a jingle for like I could do for a jingle like some kind of music company. Yeah. So okay. So what you want to do is when you have some kind of like here, or like the example here is pretty good. Like you can mark your strong beats like with accent. Oh, the ships are slow. Remember, you don't mark words, you mark syllables. Slowly moving down along the harbor side. So the trick to probably marking out the accents would be just say it out loud, but like say it with a more with more exaggeration, so you can really like get a hold of where the accents are. So if I said this verse really exaggerated, like, oh, the ships are slowly moving down along the harbor side, you can hear the accents like really clearly in there. Okay. So what we have is a strong, weak, 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 strong. So which kind of time signature has this pattern? Like a strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak pattern? Which of the time signatures has this? Eva?
True, 4.
Yep, good. So you set 2, 4 as a time signature, and then you write a rhythm out of that. So if you want to be really basic, all the ships are slowly moving, etc. These are all crotchets. Then you write the words underneath, like all the ships are moving. Oh, sorry. Slowly moving. So once you compose your rhythm here, you can then change it into some kind of melody or something to be sung. So, oh God, this thing stays. Well, let's see. It's usually more ethical to mark them out with just a line at the top, which, if you can recall, means tenuto, which is like a medium accent, and then like bar lines, separate the bars. So it becomes more clear where those like bar lines are, and then where you should probably start a new bar, or so that gives you really clear, really clear evidence as what time signature you should use. So if we just like, yeah. So you can add it like all with a line, the ships, etc. And then you put a bar line in front. So it becomes really obvious where the bar lines are. And then like where to divide your bars. And so what key signature you should use. You can also obviously use the strong weak pattern to obtain your key signature. So does anyone want to try this question 6? Like, someone read it out loud, actually, in like an exaggerated manner. Hamish? Anyone? Someone? Would someone like to read question 6, the passage, in an exaggerated manner so we can analyze where the strong and weak beats are? Yeah, okay, I'll do it. No, this is annoying. So maybe a field of poppies, red and white in summer makes a lovely sight. So you can see that I didn't put emphasis on a or in, even though they are on the first. So generally you wouldn't really want to put an accent on, like English here, on prepositions or some other kind of connectives. Not sure if you guys know what those are. So basically like and, the, preferably just don't put accents on those. But if it's really important to the sentence, then do it. Basically, accent whatever's important to the sentence, but you don't need that many accents. So you can say it out loud to determine where the accents you put them. So that means a and in probably need an anacrusis. A field of poppies, line, red and white, red and white in. So this is an anacrusis. So we can have another anacrusis here to start the next phrase, which would be like summer makes a lovely sight. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. All right. So basically, you want to accent the words that are actually important to the meaning of the sentence. Ignore any prepositions or connective words unless they are supremely important to the sentence. And of course, don't mark your strong beats in words, mark them in syllables. Okay, should we do another example or does everyone feel confident? Okay, can I see, can you guys do questions 7 and 8, like in the textbook? So that's page 38, questions 7 and 8. So you can divide the syllables, then mark the accents and put in bar lines, and then tell me what key signature you should probably use, and then compose a rhythm out of it.
What was it again?
So questions 7 and 8 on page 38. So basically what I want you to do is firstly mark your accents and put in your bar lines, and then decide on a good key signature, decide on a good time signature, and then write out the rhythm of what it was if you convert it into rhythm. So that means you also have to write your words neatly below below your rhythm. So it should look something like this in the end. You have for example 3 4, and then you have a rhythm, and then there's words like see this beautiful, something like that. Does that make sense? So that's what I see. So that's what I want to see as an end product. Exactly. You're doing your work. Here's a hint. If you have like a 3-word, if you have like a 3-syllable word and like you want it to like fit nicely, maybe use triplets. Or you can use like a crotchet and 2 quavers, whatever you want. So you have like a more varied rhythm. So with the time signature, Abigail, you want it to be able to like fit. So you look at your pattern of your strong and weak beats, and then you decide your time signature as like which best fits the pattern. So if you marked out your verse as in like strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, you can identify that as like, you know, the pattern for 3/4. So that's how you do it. You can show me one question at a time if you want.
Which questions do we do?
Oh, 7 and 8. Yep, Hazel, that looks pretty good. You can go if you want, actually, Hazel.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, Eva, the accents look like they're in the right spot. And now try and compose a rhythm out of it. I think you can write directly in the textbook. There should be enough space. Okay, Abigail, there's some problems with that because firstly, you can't have a triplet across 2 bars. And also full, like the beautiful isn't really a strong syllable. So you should probably do something like see this beautiful picture book. So beautiful, either use a triplet or maybe like a crotchet and 2 quavers. Yeah, Hamish, again, since like beau is a strong syllable, you should probably put it on a strong beat instead of a weak beat. Actually, Abigail, overall, I'm not sure 4/4 would be the best option because like beautiful could create some difficulties. So maybe use 2/4. So like you have see this beautiful picture book, something like that. I mean, Hamish, that's all right, except C is uh so C is a strong B, and if you want to put a minim on that, then you should probably change the minim to C, because if that was a long it sounds so weird. If that was a weak beat, you probably shouldn't be making it like longer. Abigail, your second bar is missing a quaver. So move the quaver to the bar before that, and then you could make some adjustments. I mean, like, Hamish, pick is a strong beat, and so is book. So maybe like put crotchet triplets for beautiful, and then separate the bar. So I probably use 2/4 for this instance. So you have like, see this beautiful, that's a triplet, so it would fit into 2/4. Picture book, that's more basic, but then you could get a little creative with your rhythm. Abigail, I think that's all right. Abigail, you can go actually, because we've gone a little over time. Hamish, that's much better. Bye, Hamish. Okay. There's right. So firstly, you don't have a key signature and bar lines, and I think maybe you should probably. So you can't have 3 quavers in the bar, because like that's not, you're not like satisfying 2/4, because 2/4 you need equivalent of 2 crotchets in there. So use like a crotchet and 2 triplets. So it's like see this beautiful. So a crotchet, 2 triplets, like beautiful. Picture book. And then open it up. You could also use a triplet there. Open it up. Yep, that's a lot better. 5.